The alarm on the crash cart's monitor cut through the on-call room wall, and I was on my feet before I'd even finished tying my shoe, because that particular tone meant somebody's heart had just decided to quit. 6 weeks into the job, and my body already knew that sound better than it knew my own name some days. Bay 3. Priya called from the desk, already running. Multiv-heckle, and they're bringing another one behind it. Cade's already scrubbing. I hated that name a little bit by reflex now. Dr. Ellis Cade ran the night shift like a man allergic to comfort, his own or anyone else's. 3 weeks earlier, he'd looked at the vitals sheet I handed him, looked at me, and said, "This is illegible. Are you writing with your left hand or your foot?" I'd gone red and said nothing, because that was the deal you made with surgeons like him. You swallowed it and you got faster. Tonight, though, there was no time for swallowing anything. The doors slammed open, and the gurney came through trailing paramedics shouting numbers, and behind it another one, and behind that one, a third. A delivery truck had jackknifed on the wet interstate and taken 4 cars with it. 3 of them were pediatric. "With me, Bennett," Cade said, not even glancing over, already snapping gloves on. "You're my hands tonight. Everyone else is spread thin." My mouth went dry. Me. The one he thought couldn't write straight. The first 2 hours blurred into a single motion. Clamp, suction, hold steady, don't you dare shake. And somewhere in there I stopped being afraid of him and started being afraid of something worse. Losing the boy on the table, 9 years old, his mother screaming his name from behind the doors we wouldn't let her through. "Pressure's dropping," I said, 70 over 40 and falling. "I know." His voice was flat, controlled, but I caught the half-second flicker in his eyes before they steadied again. "Talk me through the bleed, not the numbers. I need to know where, not just how bad." I found it before I even realized I was looking. A nick along a vessel wall nobody else had caught in the chaos. And I said so, and he looked up at me for exactly 1 second, something unreadable passing over his face, and said, "Good eye," before diving back in like he hadn't just handed me the first compliment of my career. We saved the boy. Barely. His mother cried into my shoulder afterward, and I let her, even though hospital policy probably had opinions about it, and over her head I caught Cade watching from the doorway, still in his bloodied gown, not moving to leave. By 4 in the morning we'd lost one. An older man from the second car, his heart too tired to keep fighting. And I watched something in Cade go quiet and hard in a way that had nothing to do with coldness. He sat alone afterward in the stairwell, elbows on his knees, and I almost walked past. "Almost. You don't have to pretend it doesn't get to you," I said instead, sitting 2 steps below him because I didn't know if I was allowed closer. "I won't tell anyone the Ice King has a pulse." He let out something that wasn't quite a laugh. "Is that what they call me?" "Among other things. And what do you call me?" I hadn't meant to answer, honestly. Exhausting. Terrifying. Occasionally right, which is the most annoying part. That earned an actual smile, small and surprised, like it hadn't been used in a while. "You held that vessel steadier than half my residence." I don't say that to be kind. I don't do kind very well. I noticed. "I noticed you noticing," he said, and something in the stairwell light made the whole ugly night feel, for 1 strange second, almost gentle. I think about that a lot. How the worst shift of my life turned into the hinge my whole opinion of him swung on. It makes me wonder how many people I've written off in 1 bad first week who might have surprised me if I'd stayed long enough to watch them break, too. We didn't become anything neat or simple after that. There were still sharp mornings, still moments he forgot how to say thank you and I forgot how to forgive quickly. But 3 months later, when he found me in the cafeteria at 6 a.m., 2 coffees in hand, sliding one across the table without a word, I understood it for what it was. Not an apology, not quite a beginning either, just 2 people who'd survived something together and weren't ready to stop showing up for each other. The boy from that night, Eli, still sends the unit a card every year on the anniversary, crayon hearts and all, and every year Cade tapes it inside his locker where nobody's supposed to look. I've seen it anyway. I think he leaves it where I can find it on purpose.